Hey there guys, welcome to Dino's World, and I have to say I have some glad news and breaking news as well as earth-shattering news for all you BMW Motorrad fanboys out there. I know it's been a long and frustrating wait to get our hands on the G310R as well as the G310GS, one of the most anticipated motorcycles in the history of motorcycling. So finally I would say the wait is over. So all the details that you need to know about the pre-booking procedure, about the tentative launch date, the tentative pricing for these motorcycles as well, with too many speculations doing the rounds online. So all that is what is coming up in this video, along with my signature style quick snappy overview of the G310R as well as the G310GS. So without further ado, let's get started with this video. Now, while the bikes are already up and running successfully across the world in various other markets, we Indians had to wait with bated breath to get our hands on the two brilliant machines from the house of BMW Motorrad. Well, I guess the wait is over now because we now have a special website that is up and running exclusively for the G310R and the G310GS, and the best news is that the pre-bookings begin from June 8th onwards with a booking amount of Rs 50,000. The procedure to go about it is either you walk into your local BMW Motorrad store, which is currently present in Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Pune, Kochi, Chennai and Bengaluru, or you can fill up the form on their official website, the link to which I have mentioned in the description portion below, and I'm sure the BMW team will get back to you and help you out with the booking process. Now, talking about the tentative launch date, I'm told it's going to happen somewhere in July and the prices would be officially announced during the time of the launch. So all those who pre-booked the bike first would have the great privilege of owning these machines from the first lot and eventually would end up being the proud first owners of these history-making machines here in India. Now, talking about the tentative pricing, I'm told we can expect the pricing of the G310R to be somewhere around 3.5 lakhs on road and the pricing of the G310GS to be somewhere around 4 lakhs on road, which is killer pricing in my opinion, because we are getting to own the prestigious BMW Motorrad machines at an accessible price range without having to sell our house or kidney. However, we still need to wait for the official price reveal during the time of the launch that is slated to happen in July. Now, giving you guys a quick overview of the G310R, intense riding pleasure are the words that are boldly highlighted on their official website, and that is exactly what we expect when the branding reads BMW. Now, powering the G310R is a 4-stroke liquid-cooled single-cylinder 4-valve fuel-injected 313cc engine in a DOHC setup that puts out 34 PS of max power at 9,500 RPM and 28 Newton meters of max torque at 7,500 RPM. This comes mated to a 6-speed gearbox. Now, please note that we get a reverse inclined engine setup on this bike. The unusual tilt of the cylinder to the rear, along with the cylinder head being rotated 180 degrees, lowers the center of gravity and shifts it in the direction of the front wheel. Now, because of this, the G310R would be more agile and easier to flick around. Now, further aiding this is the low and longer solid die-cast aluminium swing arm, which ensures even more stability without unnecessarily having to increase the wheelbase. Now, talking about other relevant features, the bike's design looks perfect from any angle you choose to look at it from. It clearly helps us paint the picture of its light and sporty character lurking underneath. I love the 41mm gold anodized upside down front forks that look super premium. The headlamp design and the muscular fuel tank shape remind us of the bloodline stemming from the mighty S1000R. The cast aluminium wheels lend the bike a signature appeal of its own. The stainless steel exhaust system also looks cool and complements the rest of the bike really well. The tail lamp cluster comes well encapsulated, and the overall design theme sporting the BMW Motorsport M-Stripe colors really make the bike look super attractive and ultra premium. I also personally like this black color variant showcased here. The multifunctional display looks neatly laid out as well, and I believe it carries all the relevant info we hope for. Also, I love the golden touch that BMW has given to the brake calipers. Now, these subtle yet significant elements really end up enhancing the overall visual appeal of the bike. Talking about the brakes, we get a 300mm single disc up front with a radially mounted 4-piston caliper, and at the back we get a 240mm single disc with a single piston floating caliper. We do get dual channel ABS as standard here, which is good, but please note that ABS is not switchable on the G310R Street Fighter. Now talking about the suspension, we get 41mm upside down front forks, and at the back we get a monoshock that comes with preload adjustment. Talking about the tires, we get Michelin tires on the G310R. We get 17-inch wheels at both ends. We get a 110/70 tire up front and a 150/60 tire at the back. Seat height is 785mm, which means the bike should be comfortable for riders ranging between 5 feet 4 inches and 6 feet. Another major USP of the bike is the weight advantage that the bike enjoys. The bike weighs a mere 158.5 kgs wet, which would translate into superb agility and flickability on the street as well as on the track. Tank capacity is 11 liters, although I would have preferred it to be at least 16 liters because I'm sure many would set out to go touring on this bike. Ground clearance is not mentioned, but I'm sure it would be sufficient for our Indian road conditions. So this was about the G310R, and now let's take a look at the G310GS. The GS takes its design inspiration from the legendary GS family and also gets some significant changes, thereby justifying the GS branding, which is a benchmark in the adventure touring segment in the world of motorcycles. The engine specs remain the same for both the GS as well as the 310R, with the GS putting out the same power and torque figures as that of the 310R. However, the GS does get the adventure elements like raised long travel suspension. We get 180mm of suspension travel at both ends for the GS compared to 140mm of suspension travel up front and 131mm of suspension travel at the back for the 310R. We get a larger 19-inch front wheel for the GS as opposed to the 17-inch front wheel on the 310R. We get an engine bash plate for the GS to help you conquer different terrains without worrying. We also get a well laid out windscreen for better wind protection. We get the trademark GS snout up front, further underscoring the adventure tourer character lurking underneath. The GS gets the same brakes as that of the 310R, although ABS is switchable on the GS, but it isn't switchable on the 310R Street Fighter. Now talking about the tires, we get Michelin tires for the 310R, whereas we get Metzeller's for the GS. Also, the GS gets a larger 19-inch front tire compared to 17-inch wheels of the 310R. The GS also gets block pattern off-roading tires compared to the regular street tires of the 310R. The GS gets a 110/80 tire up front compared to a 110/70 tire of the 310R. At the back, the GS gets a 150/70 tire as opposed to the 150/60 tire of the 310R. The seat, the handlebar and the footrests are perfectly set to offer supreme riding comfort and also to offer perfect balance and comfort irrespective of whether you're riding seated or whether you're riding standing up tall. The seat height is higher for the GS as well at 835mm compared to 785mm of the 310R. Also, the seat height is adjustable on the GS to a lower setting of 820mm or a higher setting of 850mm, which is outstanding for a bike in this price range. The GS also gets a longer wheelbase of 1420mm compared to 1374mm of the 310R. Now the GS is primarily meant to be a tourer, which is why the longer wheelbase ends up offering better stability on the highways. The 310R on the other hand is basically meant to thrive in the city conditions, so the shorter wheelbase renders the bike easily flickable and maneuverable in city traffic. Also, dimensions wise, length of the GS is up by 70mm, width is up by 30mm, and the overall height of the GS is up by 150mm compared to that of the 310R. The overall weight is also up by 11 kgs for the GS compared to that of the 310R. The GS gets a Z-ring chain as opposed to the O-ring chain for the 310R. And now coming to the final point, the only disappointment for me with the GS is that it gets the same 11-liter fuel tank like that of the 310R. Now the GS being a hardcore adventure tourer, I believe BMW should have given it at least a 16-liter fuel tank. Mileage wise, as per some online reports, the claim is around 36 kmpl, which is kind of unbelievable, although anything close to 30 kmpl should be extremely impressive for a 300cc bike. So I guess that's pretty much it. This wraps up my first look walk around video of the BMW G310R as well as the G310GS. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless and ride safe.